Very much, Tietze. Well, we find ourselves very, very close to the holiday season and many people taking to the roads and unfortunately a lot of people not coming back. And those people that are left with the responsibility of looking after ourselves, of course, are traffic officers. But it's not only this time that they work, they're working throughout the year. And we've been focusing in on them this morning. Well, Ayanda is at the Buchenhoutkloof Traffic Training College in Pretoria West, where she's actually standing by with I'm not too sure if she is with a family member of a deceased officer. I'm not too sure who she's with right now, but the reality is she has been speaking to family members. She's been speaking to a lot of people that have been affected by this. So let's go to her right now just to find out what more she has for us. Ayanda?
Well, a very good morning to you once again, Leanne. You're quite right. In fact, I spoke to some family members a little bit earlier, heart-wrenching stories of these heroic individuals who died while looking after you and I, Leanne. And what stood out for me during that discussion was how they lived out their calling through and through. One of the individuals passed away trying to help a neighbor, in fact, who was in distress. This individual didn't have to go and save or help anybody. He was off duty, but he took it upon himself to be an active citizen and do what he can to fix the situation. The other individual was in the line of duty. He was on his way from one particular province to another, carrying out his official duties as a traffic official. So we do spare a thought for them today. But Leanne, with me now is an individual from an organization that is almost 80 years old, serving to make sure that this profession is in fact one that is professional and that is one that is respectable as well. So we are going to be discussing the Institute of Traffic and Municipal Police Officers of Southern Africa's duties. It is a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? And we're joined by the President, Charles Reynolds. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity to be able to just mention what we do as the Institute. As I've mentioned, we've been 79 years in the making as an institute. We look after the traffic officers, nearly 11,000 members that we have, and we try and encourage the professionalism of traffic officers and bring across the work they do and to try and make their lives a lot better and protecting the community that we are serving.
What are some of their causes of concern?
Some of the officers really believe that we need to unify in the uniform color. In South Africa, we have the blue uniform that is predominantly used by the National Traffic Department, as well as the provinces near the coast. And then we have the khaki. We're in the process with the RTMC at this stage to ensure that the new code comes in where you'll have a color that is united throughout South Africa, the markings of the vehicle. So when you see a traffic officer, you will distinguish that that is a traffic officer of South Africa, be it in a town, be it in a province or in the various different traffic departments. We've got 3 traffic departments. We've got municipal traffic officers, we've got provincial traffic officers, and then we've got the national traffic officers that are also in effect at the moment.
I mean, this may seem like something small, but it does affect the psyche of the officials on the ground. They want to make sure that they have a professional working environment, don't they?
Oh, yes, very much so. Remember, we are dealing with professionals as traffic officers, and so often we refer to them as cops or something, and they are professionals, degreed, they go through various training, and that is what the Institute is there for, to ensure that the profession is uplifted, and that is what we're busy doing at the moment. We also need to be aware of the tourists. We look at tourism, and if a tourist comes to South Africa, they will know that the color that's going to be implemented will be a traffic officer. We know the blue currently for the South African police. So that is what we are striving for, to ensure that we have unity amongst the traffic officers of Southern Africa.
And what can we do as motorists to improve our relationship with Metro police officers? Because I don't think, with at least the traffic officials as well, the onus is not only on them. I think we have a part to play as well. So I think, titles like Pig Spotter and Speed Corp, as you've said, they don't go a long way to facilitating that cohesion, is it?
No, definitely not. They are professionals. They've got a job to do. And I think as a motorist, it's in your own heart that you're upset with yourself. You have pressed the petrol of that car. You've exceeded the speed limit. But the first person that comes to your window is a traffic officer. The human side of you kicks in and you get cross with the traffic officer. And I really urge the public to take into account they are doing a job. And we are trying very hard under difficult circumstances. Most people are busy planning end of the year. Traffic officers are beginning. Today's the launch of the Arrive Alive. We're starting to work. 24 hours a day, traffic officers are working. They're not going to spend Christmas with their families. They are out on the roads protecting those going on holiday, protecting those that are traveling to make sure that there's no chaos on the roads. So yes, we really urge the public to support traffic officers. And if you deal with him in a friendly manner, he will most likely deal with you the same way back. He's only doing his job.
Speak to me about this occasion or this event today. You and I were chatting briefly off air that in fact it's not the first of its kind and that you have been doing it for a number of years. It's just that now it has grown in magnitude and it's the first time that it is honoring traffic officials countrywide.
That is correct, yes. I just wanted to clarify that. Our institute, this is the 19th year that behind where we're standing at the moment, we've got a memorial stone that the institute erected. And when you look at the names that have been put on it, every year we come back and we memorize the staff that have fallen, our fallen colleagues. But today is the first time that we've got a national minister. It's the first time we got the national department as well as the RTMC. And it's a larger scale. We're talking of thousands today compared to the smaller scale we had. And this is exciting as an institute because we are now getting recognized for what is happening on the roads as traffic officers and that they also bleed. They also have families left today. We looked at the families this morning. They were really grieving. And I really believe that a day like today, we can go back and pay homage to those that have fallen.
It brings a little bit of closure and a bit of healing as well. But over and above that, I always say, yes, we must look back and remember and try and fix and heal, but we also have to prevent. Let's talk about international best practice. You spoke to me about Chicago and what they're implementing there as well, that perhaps we can look into in South Africa. What sort of strategies are you looking at?
The most important thing that we need in South Africa that we're striving for is visibility of traffic officers. It is so important to have traffic officers on the key routes as well as the minor routes. And I think when you look, I've recently attended a National Chiefs of Police conference in Chicago where they've gone back to the basics of putting officers in limited areas, covering a small portion. And that we need to do in South Africa. But I must also mention that we have a tremendous shortfall of traffic officers in this country. And we need more traffic officers to be able to cover the major routes and the secondary routes. But that is the best way, is prevention is better than cure. And having officers on the road, and they can respond in a quicker time should there be an event where they need to look at a reckless driver or an accident scene.
It's been such a huge pleasure having you with us this morning. My thanks to you and all the best for the next 80 years almost of the Institute. Thank you so much for coming through. And thank you for having joined us for the last few hours of the broadcast. That is unfortunately where we leave it, at least for now. More on this, as you can imagine, towards the end of the festive season or as we approach it and throughout the holiday period. So we'll be discussing the road. We'll be discussing how to minimize fatalities and, affiliated discussions to that effect as well. So we'll bring you all that and more in just a moment. But for now, at least, it's goodbye and God bless. Quick ad break. Morning Live continues after.